Good night, everybody. Welcome to the conversation. I am one of the hosts, Alistair Sampson, and we have a little bit of a change tonight. As you can see, right here with me here is Mr. Chris Crossley himself. Mr. Crossley, sir, how everything going, man?
Man, well, good. Get a fine few scattered showers. You know we're going today, so that's a whole story by itself.
Yeah.
But it's good to be tonight with everyone once again for the conversation. Once again, if you're plugged in right now, start sharing. Let people know the conversation is on, because tonight we are talking on a topic that I think needed to be touched on. We're talking about the dark side of entrepreneurship, or being a business owner, and it's not about the gloom and doom or anything like that. This is just basically, telling side of the story that people like to talk about. All right, straight, no chaser, one to the chin, because it needs to be told and not hidden. All right. So, but before we begin, as always, we like to do, the COVID check-in, because time has passed. We're still within the time of COVID and the pandemic, and we're all still dealing with a certain way. So, how has the last week been for you? Since not the last week, the last 2 weeks, because we didn't have the conversation for 2 weeks now. So how has it been since then?
Boy, to be honest, it reached a point right now. I am so mentally adapted to how things are happening right now. It is like really a part of a routine that's happening. It's really part of a routine now. And it was just some time ago I was telling persons that this is a year.
Yeah, it's a year.
It is a year. Last year, March, we had the country on lockdown, and that's exactly how it is right now. It's a year now that I'm officially working from home, and it was some crazy adjustment, and yes, these past 2 weeks, it passed through, still making sure you keep healthy and everything like that. And again, we have to be always very careful. Don't be complacent when it comes to your safety, your health, ensuring that you wash your hands, you sanitize. So that is so part of the routine right now, man. I think I don't know if I chat with you on it or someone else. When is the last time you get sick from any
we was
virus?
We was talking about that just weekend. Like, it's literally been over a year, and I think probably early 2019 was probably the last time I actually got sick. Mm-hmm. So it goes to show, is people out there that have been giving man the cold is all here, because I ain't get sick for the whole 2020 working from home at all. So is people is all here.
It's good to share. Let me see, even persons in the audience right now, all those who listening, when was the last time you actually got sick? If you really check back, and I'm not talking if it is that you tested positive for COVID. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the last time you get the common cold or anything like that. Really and truly. Really check back and see what's going on. We are all monk now, as persons are saying. It is really a big change that we are going through.
A big change.
We respect it.
For me, the last 3 weeks, like this entire year, seeing that restrictions has been easing up and people trying to do stuff again. The last 2 months for me, for the last 3 weeks we're talking about now, has been real busy. To the point where, it's like the stress levels peaking, and it's just, once again, it's adapting to, handling situations and dealing with people, and it makes you wonder, if you really want to be doing certain things, which more or less leads into the conversation that we're having tonight. Discussing the dark side of entrepreneurship, or being a business owner, right? And a lot of people want to get into business. A lot of people want to start a business. People encourage you and whatnot. And I made a post a couple of weeks ago on Facebook, and I mentioned, we always talk about the story with our entrepreneurs, one who jumps and makes a plane on their way down. But I summarize that by saying you might make the plane, but then you realize you don't have the fuel. Right? And you will crash.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you learn to make a propeller to the plane and then wind, hopefully, but you will crash. And that is something we want to talk about tonight in a little detail. Because, all right, when we're talking about entrepreneurship, what are some of the things you would have heard before?
You would have heard a lot of the myths with respect to entrepreneurship. I think a lot of time people put a lot of glamour behind it. Be your own boss, fire your work, you running the business for yourself, and all that may be true. But a lot of times there's a difference between entrepreneurship and self-employment in that matter of speaking, because a lot of times people blur the two definitions.
Correct. They do.
And when you really look at it, or you really examine yourself, you realize now that you basically own a job.
Yes, you own a job.
You own a job,
Yeah.
and you find yourself you're talking about you would have had more freedom, and realize really is less
You
freedom.
don't have more freedom. That is a big myth. I mean, I've heard the whole work while they're sleeping, and you had to outwork them, and the 5 a.m. club, and grind when everybody is sleeping. You hear those stories, and I tell people it's not until you start doing something. You may have a great idea, wonderful idea, great idea, business plan, whatever, but it's until you start doing it is when you realize how much work it is. Like, I remember when back in the day I wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
And then I realized when I worked in a law firm how much reading they did. And then when I started business, I found that I did more reading then. So I was like, best I was a lawyer, because the amount of reading and research I had to do to more or less ensure that I was knowledgeable in my field is one thing. And also, you actually get to realize while doing it if it's something you actually want to do. Because it's all fun and games when it's a hobby. It's all enjoyable when you're just doing it because you're passionate about it. But then when it becomes a business, and then you have to attach all these procedures, you have marketing, branding, packaging, distribution, dealing with clients, return policies, social media management. You get a whole bunch of procedures that you didn't really take seriously before, and now you actually have to do with intention, because you're trying to make business, and a business is here to make profit. Like, let's be real.
True.
You start a business is with the goal of making a profit. You may have your goal about impact and helping the economy and all that, but a business is there to make money.
Exactly.
All right. So regardless of anything else. So if you're not making money, then your business, isn't going to grow in that sense. And I think that is one thing I want to start with talking about, because I know people, you're used to a salary one, then you start a business, and your business may not necessarily make money right away. And a lot of people don't realize that until they're doing it. And a month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed, a year passed, and they're yet to really make a significant break in their business. And I wonder how much people are really ready to go the long term with that, because I always tell people, you will work 40 years at a job till you retire with a salary. But if you work 3 to 5 years on your business and don't make the money you want, it's hard.
Yeah. That's it hard.
It's hard. I know companies, there's a company's First Form, I believe it's their First Form is the name, and they made no money for the first 7 years of business. How much people today can say they're willing to go at a business hard for 7 years without making a dime? True. How much people are prepared to go that distance? I think a lot of people would have quit and go back to getting a job a long time.
It's true, because I think a lot of times people just have this hairy myth about business, that if I open my business, people will just come.
Yeah.
And I will just start
make it and they'll come. Yeah.
Make it and they'll come. But I've known people who have eating business and these things like that, and okay, they make the items there, and sometimes they break it even, or making a loss, as the case may be. I mean, yes, the food business, especially if it is that you're just doing it out of kitchen, that kind of side business, and they don't have the expense of restaurants and things like that, you can make a little bit of profit based on that. But even the areas of services and these things, that it's tough. And a lot of times people have this myth that, well, once I have my service is the best. Once I advertise once and I throw a free ad on Facebook, well, business will just start coming like that and I will always make profit. That's a lie, folks.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
That's a lie. It doesn't work like that at all. And I think a lot of times people jump on these myths and these and again, even with respect to businesses and being your own boss, a lot of times, and I'm being very straight about it, we have a lot of bandwagoners when it comes to that.
Well,
Persons who just they want to just jump on the business train because it sounds good and it's a trend.
It's trending.
It's trending.
It's trending. It's trending until bills need to be paid. And you experience, if you've never experienced having a negative bank account, woo, it is not fun, people.
Yeah.
I am speaking from experience here.
You have to put money to make zero.
When you see those brackets appear in your bank account, it means it's negative. All right, they're not showing you highlighting. No, it's negative.
Negative.
All right. So, I mean, that is just one of the things people don't talk about. The fact that, you know, you may not make money right away, and you have to be prepared for that. And it's something you mentally have to be prepared for, financially to be prepared for, because it's one thing if it's by yourself, but it's another if you're a family person, you have responsibilities, you have bills. That kind of weigh on you a lot. And I'll speak for men as well. You know, that is something as men who, you know, we believe, you know, being the providers in the home, and you have a wife and kids, the last thing you want is them suffering or having to sacrifice while you doing what you're supposed to do or trying to do something to establish yourself. Is not really a good feeling, and we tend to deal with that differently, which is something you need to prepare for. That's one part of this journey that people will talk about. Another part I find that people don't mention, like, I mean, just to say, you know, people wish you luck, but they forget bad luck is also luck. Right? Just like, you know, they say dreams do come true, but they forget to tell you that nightmares are dreams too.
Exactly.
You know, in this world of entrepreneurship and being a business owner, there are times you may get that beginner's luck streak. You may get that thing, that momentum. However, scaling too fast is also a situation where you cannot meet the demand, which can cause your business to crash immediately. So it's good to get business, but you have to know how to scale your business appropriately. All right, because the last thing you want is that you hit it off big, you're off running, and you get all these inquiries, all these sales, but then no, you don't have enough funding, you don't have enough product, and you're going to go out of business because people are going to ask for their refunds.
True. And
you're going to lose money long run, and that doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help your reputation at all for your business.
Exactly, your reputation is the next thing. You know, so people have to understand you need to put certain processes in place. We know in Trinidad and Tobago, especially right now when it comes to Forex, is a situation. We know when it comes to e-commerce, that's a whole next situation. We have to deal with direct deposits and stuff like that. We had a very good platform here. I know they're supposed to be leaving sometime this year, and we pay. There are other platforms coming on stream, but it's still going to be during the testing and the beta stages. So people need to, you know, see what they can do to help protect their business and protect the revenue coming in. It is not just about putting a product up on a website or advertising on Facebook and getting sales. If you have no way to collect the money, then you can't make sales, right? And not everyone is open to doing wire transfers and doing direct deposits. So you have to find a way to make sure you capture the amount of clientele that you have and being able to receive those payments. You know, and like I said, you don't learn this in school. Nobody talks to you about this. You might hear the online gurus mentioning stuff about e-commerce and starting up stuff, and it's great. Let's do online businesses. But if it is your infrastructure cannot facilitate it, then you need to make sure you have certain things in place first. Otherwise, you will just be doing yourself and your business harm. All right. Another thing, and we were talking about more the technical side there, but let's talk about the part of the human being. I always say businesses are run by human beings. The business has its own way to thrive, but you as a human being also have to deal with this. And it comes down, if you've never if you think, that you have learned to deal with stress, welcome
To the real world.
to the what Morpheus said.
Welcome
to the land of the real.
Yeah.
Have you ever? No, this is a serious thing here because I have dealt with depression a lot. I've dealt with anxiety on many levels, and to the point where, let's start with, they talk about freedom, right? You have your own business, you have more freedom. That's a lie. You actually put in more hours working, which then means your sleep gets affected, which then means your overall health starts getting affected, because lack of sleep does interfere with your health, interfere with your thinking, interfere with your thought processes, how to make decisions. Lack of sleep does start to affect your body. Do not listen to these people that say, you don't need 8 hours of sleep. People, how much sleep you need, you take.
Yeah, take your guys sleep.
Get your sleep. Sleep is vital. I always tell people I know directly, personally, what a lack of sleep does. Short-term memory loss and blurred vision, and I already wear glasses. So you do not want to feel the effects of that at all. I guarantee you. So do get enough sleep. Don't listen to people saying you need to be working while people sleeping, and then you're up all 2-3 in the morning, and then you can't actually function the next day. Let's not fall into that trap. You cannot pour from an empty vessel.
That's right.
So if you are drained physically, you will not be able to form at your top level. You will not. And that is just the truth. You will not.
Yeah. But you have a next extreme to it as well too. You have some persons who don't even treat their business with the respect and the seriousness that it deserves. A lot of times you have a few people as well who, yes, they have the business, but they treat I can't even call it entrepreneurship. They treat it as a hobby. They don't really invest the time and the true effort in terms of letting it grow. And I've always said this: if it is treated like a hobby, you're going to get paid as a hobby.
Well, hobbyists do usually get paid.
Well, I mean, if it is that you don't really have a passion behind it and you just moving real slight with respect to it, that is how your returns are going to be as well too. I mean, if you have great hobbies and you really put your passion behind it,
right,
no problem. But
putting your passion is part of it. But passion without a direction will lead to nowhere, and nowhere is also a direction. If you understand what I'm saying, right? You have to put things and do things with intention right about now, especially with your business. Another one of the dark side topics I'm talking about is dealing with anxiety. When you are in a place where you're so busy that you don't want to deal with people. Like, there are mornings I would turn on my phone and I would just rest it down because I don't want to deal with that. Right? And having to over communicate, having to deal with irate clients. I don't think people understand how much it takes out of you to do this every single day. Waking up regardless of how you feel every single day, and do something that may not generate revenue, but you still have to do it regardless. I mean, I'm dead serious here. How much people, if you're listening tonight, how much of you are willing to get up every day, do something that you're really passionate about as a business, all right? You're giving your all, even though it's not making money, and still be willing to go through with it. Because some days you're going to feel like, regardless of how much you know, regardless of how much you do, regardless of how much you've done, the only thing you're successful at is failing. There are some days you are going to feel like that. And I'm not saying anything just because I'm saying that because I've lived it. There are days you are going to wake up feeling like, why am I doing this? What is the purpose? What is the sense? Because it's not working. And you still have to get past that part of your brain and still do what you're supposed to do on that day. They always talk about get dressed and show up. Well, this is where you have to mentally still get dressed and show up for yourself every single day. And we go, and later on we will actually start to speak about things that you can do to help manage those feelings, because it's not something that you can just remove or avoid. You have to actually manage those emotions and your mental space. All right, but we will get into that. So, all right. So for those not joining, we are talking about the dark side of entrepreneurship. Things people don't want to talk about or mention because we are trying so much to get people to start online businesses and break the 9-to-5 cycle. But the truth is, nothing is wrong with having a job or a good career.
Yeah.
That's not down that at all. You can learn a lot having a career in any field. At the end of the day, is what's your end goal, right? Your end goal is what matters. The journey is just part of it, and is what gives more value to you at the end of the day, right? So let's not knock anybody who has a day job. I think they are the real troopers, and in some extent, like for me last week, I was dealing with people so much, and I was at the point where I was over dealing with people, where it felt like having a day job and dealing with people only between 8 and 4 would be better. No, I'm dead serious. It felt like dealing with people between 8 and 4, knowing, all right, I only have to deal with people in this block, and after that I'm free, was looking so appealing.
Yeah, because I mean, especially within the area that you're working, is not within just local Trinidad and Tobago person you're dealing with, and it's not always within the same time zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I took about 2 weeks ago, a Friday, my first meeting started at 6:45 a.m. My last meeting ended at 1:30 a.m. Right? So I ended 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Right? And I'm talking about an entire day of meetings. So for me, I was like, yo, I didn't want to see nobody, hear nobody, close down computer. It's like, it was a wrap. Because at the end of the day, you over communicate so much. You don't want to hear your phone ring. Sometimes my phone ring and I get upset. I'm like, why? And you have to deal with this. You have to deal with people calling you 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. There's a particular contact I will not get in reach with him the entire day. 10 o'clock in the night, he'll be free.
When it's time for your sleep.
When I'm trying to wind down, relax with my wife, watch a little TV, I had to take calls and have meetings 10 o'clock in the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, then going to bed to be back up by 6 a.m. to do this all over again. I really want people to ask themselves if they are ready to endure this. This is not no microwave living, no microwave life. You put it in 2 minutes, bing, done, success. No. And you truly have to ask yourself if what you want to do is truly what you want to do. Because I discovered, and like I said, I'm speaking from experience tonight. I discovered when I started doing certain things that it's not what I wanted to do. Even though people liked it, wanted it, or whatever, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't. And you will not know until you start doing it. So you have the greatest intentions, you have the best business idea, best business plan. Start it. It's only when you start you will know. It's only when you start going through the trials you will know. When you start going through the issues and fine-tuning your processes, you will actually know if it's something you're doing for a business, or if the truth is what you do is actually just for you, and if it should remain a hobby. I don't care what nobody, no guru says. If you don't feel it and you don't enjoy it, you don't want to do it.
You see that? I'm glad they brought up this whole thing about the gurus as well. A lot of times we want to take pattern from these gurus out there, the Grant Cardone, the Gary V, and all of these persons like that. But remember, they have their own personality traits, and these things work uniquely for them. You only look at where you are seeing them right now with the millions of views and the subscribers.
Correct.
But years before that, it didn't have anything like views and subscribers with them. They had to put in the sacrifices. They fell down along the way, the mistakes that they make along the way. Don't look at the end product or the successful element that you are able to see right now and think, well, why are you not there just like them?
No.
That's the worst thing you could do.
Worst thing you could do.
Yeah, comparing yourself with that. That's not gonna encourage you to grow, and really and truly it's not realistic. It isn't. It's not realistic in terms of you just comparing yourself and say, well, I want to be the next Gary Vee at the end of 2021, or I want to be the Mel Robbins or the Tony Robbins or whoever the case may be in terms of that. You can be you, and each person, as I said, have different personality traits. You might be an introvert, but yet you have to deal with customers.
Oh yeah.
All right. What you need to do is guilty as charged here as well.
Me. Yeah.
How are you going to maybe manage your energy to be able to deal with people if you're not a people person or a person who is very extrovert and outward and expressive? How are you going to be able to deal with that? You know, so it's different strokes for different folks in terms of what you need to put your energy to. And that is so important to be able to manage that type of energy, your mental energy, your physical energy, even your emotional energy when it comes to doing business itself. You just have to be really careful about that and be mindful of that energy that you manage.
Correct. And do try to remember, most people you see who are at a certain level, you will realize they have processes in place, and most importantly, they have a team. Right? When you're starting off, you may not have a team. All right? When you're starting off, you may not have an accountant, attorney, a marketing team, a branding team. You'll find that you are the one-man army doing most things for yourself, all your copy for your social media posts, for your website. You know, you'll find that you're the one doing these things and learning to do it, which is actually good. It's good skills to have. But at some point, you do want to reach where you can actually delegate those tasks, so it makes it easier on yourself, and you're not working in your business, you're working on your business, because there's a difference. A lot of people get caught thinking, well, I'm the one doing things every single day, and you think they're working on their business. No, you just gave yourself a job. You literally employed yourself, so you're working in your business and not getting chance to focus on the bigger tasks to help grow, and that is working on your business. It's literally two different things. So at some point you will get to that, but don't watch what other people have right now and think, well, it's not working because I can't get there and stuff like that. You're going to go through this process as well, just as they did. You know, a lot of people took their first earnings, and instead of paying themselves, they hired someone with it, so that way they can start leveraging their time to get stuff done in a more better manner. All right. The dark side of entrepreneurship tonight, folks. Let me see something else. I actually tried to write down stuff for this tonight, because I think there's so much behind this that people don't deal with, especially. And you know, depression is a whole next thing by itself. Not thinking you're good enough, dealing with that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
All right, thinking that you're never going to be in a place that's truly, or the person I should say, that is truly ready for this success. And doing that, now you actually start to sabotage yourself first mentally, right? And then because of that, you're going to start sabotaging your business indirectly. You wouldn't even realize that. Okay, so dealing with these little things as a human being, as I always said, it comes down that you are a human being behind a business, and you have to take care of yourself before anything else. Exercise. You will hear all these successful people speak about running marathons and stuff like that, and you would think that it's just something that's trending or fad with these people, but it's not. When you look at it, it's called endurance.
Yeah.
And it's something that you need to have when you're starting a business. You have to be ready to endure and persevere and push through. And I think running helps replicate that feeling, because you're tired, your legs are burning, you're trying to catch your breath, but you know you still have to keep going. Every single step you have to keep doing. Even if you slow down, it's fine, but they still keep going. So you get to see that endurance build, and it's a good practice that you now take from your physical, right, into your mental and emotional state, and that helps prepare your business as well, because you know you can push through the days when it's burning. You can push through the days when it's hard.
Yeah.
You need that endurance level. So exercise, separate from people saying they want to run marathons too because it's so whoever run a marathon. Forget that. Exercise because you need a healthy body and a healthy mind to operate a business effectively, right? That coupled with sleep and stuff like nutrition and stuff like that, which is a topic by itself, right? Which we have touched on many times on the mantle. All right, but tonight we want to really get home for those that are thinking about starting a business. You need to be prepared for the days when starting that business does not, register the way you want it, or it's not going the direction you want it to go, and you start questioning everything. It will happen. We're not hiding this from you tonight. It will happen. I know a lot of people listening tonight who probably sat down and cried.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people probably been going through panic attacks, who've been going through anxiety attacks,
yeah.
Who've been dealing with depression because they don't know what is going to happen next. There are many people who have businesses and they're going to wake up in the morning and they're not sure what is going to happen and they are fearful. It will happen, and it does happen to everyone. Nobody tells you this. Everybody likes to show, yes, work harder than they work, stay up to 2 a.m. is what you do after hours that count. Yes, that is true. What you do after hours do count. But what you do after hours to take care of yourself also counts.
Yeah.
It's not just about the business.
And if you look at it right now, this whole COVID-19 intensified everything even further.
Oh yeah.
It intensified even further. I mean, if persons have been following from, let's say, last year March to July, August, a lot of business closed down because they couldn't make rent. The way how the business was structured, it was not in a way to really be sustainable. And honestly, COVID unmasked that with respect to the business. It not just unmasked the business itself. Sad to say, it actually unmasked the people that are running the business in terms of what it is that they were running. Some of them were running on autopilot, just saying, well, okay, I have my business open, they will come. But when the lockdown happened and persons were not coming, what happened? Some of the businesses just had to shut down, close the doors, and a lot of people lost their areas of employment, lost their businesses because of that. So even even we talk about anxiety, we talk about imposter syndrome, even paranoia kicked in as well for a number of persons. Oh my God, the bank going to come and foreclose everything now. What's going to happen? All these things, or somebody trying to get me and absorb my business. All these things like that happen here, and we need to be really mentally prepared for it. And honestly, I call it the COVID era. It really has been a wake up call to the world.
Correct.
With respect to how we look at mental energy or emotional state, and how we try to adapt, because we talk about adapting, but this was something that for persons
nobody
who
expected it.
hit you for sex.
Yeah, nobody expected.
Nobody expected. Nope. Right? It hit so hard, and I mean, I've seen a number of persons who are connecting here. Shout out to Diane Murphy, Frank and Esther Wilson, Nicole Regis, Jennifer Boss Lady Thomas. I know Lady. Yes, I know she has a business as well, and she could give you a good bit of stories as well.
We know this lady personally, folks.
Yeah.
And we know she can attest to having to endure. Right, it's an agricultural distribution business called Promise Basket, and I mean, seeing it from the start to where it is now, she can give you all the story of endurance and being close to, I'm sure, probably wanting to give up, wondering when things will work. So we know for a fact that she can attest to what we're speaking to tonight. So thanks for tuning in tonight, Boss Lady. All right, hope you're having a good week so far.
Yeah.
And you mentioned businesses closing down, and this is something else that people don't tell you about with the dark side of entrepreneurship. Lack of support.
Yeah.
All right. Lack of support. Worse yet, during a time of COVID when people lost their jobs and do have income and might spend as before, yet, you might be a business owner struggling, and you're going to see certain people opening new stalls in new malls. You will see new restaurants opening, new business branches opening from certain people, and you'll be wondering how during this time are they getting the revenue to do these things when you're struggling. And it comes down to what people are supporting. And as a business owner, you will not get that support all the time. You have to be prepared financially, mentally, emotionally for those stages. Because as with everything, there's peaks and there's valleys. The valleys sometimes seem very deep. It feels like you're digging a well and you'll find water, and then you might start to drown. But always tell yourself, when you hit rock bottom, that's a new foundation to start building upon. And that is the truth, because most times when you see you break down everything to that level, you really get a view of, one, how far first that you will, right? And then you actually see what layers. Think about it like when you see the side of a mountain and the water wash away, you see the layers, right? The things that were there. So you now see where you actually need to fill certain gaps in order to rebuild properly. All right, look at where you are, where you, even if it's something that you've dropped a level, that's fine. Look at where you've been. Look at the gaps that now needs to be filled on the layers, so that you can work your way back up and then exceed that point, because that is what that is about. A lot of people think I hit rock bottom and I have nowhere else to go but up, which is true. But when you sit, if you don't take in your surrounding, observe the surrounding that you're within, it may seem, dismal, but it's not. This is one of the best points you can be, because now you have literally nothing to lose. But then to give your all to go back up. You literally have nothing else that anyone can take from you. You are at the advantage now where you can position yourself for growth exponentially. But a lot of people, they will go in this hole and call it a grave and just pull down the dirt and cover themselves. No, that's not what you're about. You're not we want you to grow, but we don't want you to think you're a plant and you're a seed in the ground and in the darkness you'll push forward. No, right? We want you to have that light and understand that regardless of the dark times that is coming, that you have experienced, that you will continue to face, regardless, you are going to make it through. All right. So let's talk about some of the things that you can do to help mitigate and manage these times as they come. As always, let's deal with the business side first. We mentioned processes. All right. Learn what your business needs. Learn what it needs and decide on what you can do to make it easier or more manageable to run, which means sometimes you have to give up some of your power. You have to give up some of the authority that you have to others so that it can be easier and let your business run.
Delegate
a little more. Exactly. You have to learn to delegate. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of actually starting a team. I know a lot of people talk about not trusting people, and people don't have the same vision and all that. The truth is, you don't need people with the same vision. You need their skill set. You need to manage their skill set so that your business can be productive.
Correct.
They may not have the same vision. That's fine. No one will have your vision completely. They may understand what you're trying to do, but the truth is their skill set that is going to manage your business.
Just taking a page from there. Even when personally you're looking to delegate and everything like that, you need to be able to document your unique systems to your business as well.
Correct.
The things that you do for yourself, start documenting it. It may sound like, oh gosh, I don't like to write and this, that, and the other, but document everything in terms of how do you get from point A to point B. The reason for that is your process that you're actually documenting. So when you decide to expand your business itself and bring in person that you want to delegate, you already have a system in place for them to follow, and this is what you're going to hold them accountable to.
Correct.
They are not going to do their own thing because you didn't give them anything to go with. All right, and that is going to be really important, because you don't want person to do their own thing and jeopardize you how your business is because you decide, well, I'm going to keep everything up here. Document everything as much as possible. Document it, tweak it, make sure it gets better. You delegate somebody to it. Is it going to be absolutely perfect when you get go? Not necessarily, but at least you have something to tweak and elevate and to fine tune, as you rightfully say, to go forward.
Correct. And that's, it sounds okay. It's not easy. It sounds simple. It's not easy, but it needs to be done, especially if you want your business to scale properly. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the human side of this thing. Because the business side of it is actually very easy once you get processes in place. But then dealing with it as a person is the true, not obstacle, but the thing that you will literally need to get through. Dealing with anxiety and depression, I'll tell you from now, there are many things you can do. One, get a routine of something that makes you feel alive. If it is a matter of getting up early and jogging, if it is you like music, if you like cooking, get into that habit of doing something for you every single day that makes you connect with yourself. Because at the end of the day, business aside, you still have to, feed that fuel within yourself. All right, nobody else can do that for you. All right, so that's one. Secondly, I will always encourage journaling. I'll always encourage putting your thoughts on paper so that you can actually see and review the way you're feeling. And then you could actually ask yourself certain questions. You could actually answer them yourself. Why am I feeling a certain way at this time? What am I facing? How am I feeling? What has taken me out of the feeling? That way you actually having that conversation with yourself and getting it out instead of keeping it within yourself, because at some point you'll either implode or explode. And we don't want that to happen. All right, we don't want any more panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and breakdowns, especially during the course of the day when you're trying to be functional and working on your business at that. All right. Another thing you can practice, meditation. I always tell people meditation does not mean saying down, hands fold, legs fold, numb young and get cured. No, that is not. That is not what meditation is really about. All right. Yes, we know about the yoga and those practices, but when I say meditation, I honestly mean just spending time in silence with yourself, listening to yourself, being more aware. Meditation is not about not thinking. A lot of people think you have to silence your brain. That is not possible. All right. It's about communicating with yourself, listening to your breathing, listening to how things are flowing, listening to what is happening around you, and just being in that stillness. And sometimes when you in that stillness is where you hear that quiet voice that actually encourages you to keep going.
Clarity, yeah.
You get that the clarity. A lot of times it comes during those moments when you find or you get to that peace level within yourself, that you hear, what you should be doing next, the way you should be thinking, and you realize that what you were holding on to is not necessarily something that you should. It wasn't your fault. It's something external to you that you have no power over.
Correct.
All right, nothing you can do about, but you hold on to it as though it's affecting you. Stop that. Look at what you are in control of, what you can control. Everything else will have to take care of itself. All right. So meditation does help bring you to that state of oneness within yourself, so you can be focused. All right. Another thing, as you mentioned earlier just now, exercise. Exercise is a good way to. It's not just about building strength or getting strong. It's about endurance. It's about being healthy.
Getting that breathing, that oxygen flowing.
Correct.
Top to bottom.
A lot of times we think we're tired and we need sleep, but sometimes we actually need exercise so we can build more energy.
Yeah.
Right? Coming to the next point, which is actually get more sleep. All right. So I try to get at least 6 to 7 hours sleep every night now, because I know what lack of sleep does. Honestly, there are people who, because of studying and going to school, they're used to living on 2-3 hours of sleep. All right. For those in your 20s, that's fine.
Yeah, you go strong.
Right. For those that are in their 30s, mid 30s, you'll find that starts to change. And then those of us 40 up, we know that's not happening anymore.
Nope. Nope.
Right. You know that thing called sleep is so precious to us now. But when you have a business, there are going to be some days you have to give up some of that sleep. But I do encourage you to still find time to get some rest. All right. Sleeping during the day is not the same as sleeping in the night. We know this. All right. So do try to get some nights where you can shut down early. Don't spend hours watching your phone. That light still affects you. Switch off and just get some rest. All right.
Yeah.
You're talking about. Go ahead.
One of the things that could help as well too. Try to get your thoughts out on paper as well. So you see, stuff like journaling helps.
Yeah, it does.
Just take some time and write. I mean, a lot of time we want to use the phone in the night with the light and everything. Go old school.
Yeah,
Get a journal, pen and paper. Start writing, because your mind will start formulating the thoughts that you can put it on paper, and it'll click a lot better for you. It's so important to do that, and you'll realize that when you actually look back at the journal 2 weeks, 3 weeks from before, certain things that you will realize, especially if it is that you're writing how you feel, and if you're feeling anxiety, your handwriting is look a particular way as well.
Yeah, true.
And you could actually see where your mind space was
happy
at that
days,
particular time, happy days, bad days.
Yeah,
and be truthful when you journal. If you had a hard day, just feel like everything was peachy.
Be truthful.
It's your journal. Put your thoughts within there. That's for you. All right. You can look back and you can actually see your development when you go back through the pages of your journal. That is so important as well too.
So we doubling down on journaling. We're doubling down on getting stuff out.
Especially when there's an introvert like myself.
Like us. All right, that's for sure. I would say also try to get be around like-minded people. Get a support group. Now, I'm not saying go and tell people that you have a world of problems. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be around like-minded people that would encourage you and challenge you to do better, but it will also encourage you to take care of yourself. You will feel energized around people like that, because you all are on the same line, on the same vein. Goals are aligned. You can see yourself working with these people, doing stuff. These are the people that help fuel you, and you do need that kind of encouragement and time. I'm not talking about go and talk to your girlfriend, right, or talk to your partner and drink beers and lime. I'm not talking about that. All right, I'm talking about constructive conversations, things that can help uplift you at the end of the day. All right, we're looking at building yourself and not just finding a what's the word looking for? Placebo.
Yeah, the placebo effect. The sugar rush.
Just something that makes you feel good for a time, and then you still have to deal with it the next day. We want more than that.
Dopamine high. That's the thing.
You don't want just that quick fix. And then the next day you're back to having to deal with these emotions and these feelings. No, that's not what we're looking for right now. We're looking at long-lasting, long-term things that you can do to help take care of yourself holistically as a person to deal with these times.
One of the things that persons need to look at as well, and let's stop playing about it. Let's look at even the circle that you're with respect to your support group that you have. If it is that you are the sharpest person in that support group, you need a different support group. You need persons that will be able to challenge you. Because if it is that your circle of influence, that there's nobody there to challenge you, you're saying that deception will make it feel that everything is okay because, well, you're better than everybody else here. But if you are not challenged and if you are not pushed to do better, you need a different group. You need to be challenged to do other things, because if you are the sharpest tack in the whole team there, you need to have that change. And if it is you really want to grow and elevate within a business and yourself mentally, you need to have that support group. You can't just be the one supporting others. You have to be able to be supported as well too.
And we know ladies tend to have those groups. I always say women have these support groups. Men, we still struggling to create these circles. It's happening in small batches here and there, but it's something we always encourage. So I know here at the Mantle, we always say, look, if you want to talk something, you want to discuss, you have a topic you want us to talk about, send us a message in the inbox. We will touch on it. We will deal with it. Or if you just need that place or need somebody to talk to about stuff that's going on, feel free to drop a message in the inbox. That's not a problem. All right. Another thing that people can do to deal with these dark side of entrepreneurship, learn to take breaks.
Yeah.
Right? And as I take breaks, like I ask people, when is the last time you turned off your cell phone?
Wait, cell phones have an off switch?
Like, people are like, what? Turn off my phone? I'm like, okay, when the last time you switched off? Leave on your phone. Switch off the Wi-Fi. Turn off your data.
But why?
Right? Disconnect, because you see, once you're always connected, you're always plugged in. You always feel like you need to pick up and see what's happening, see what people are doing. I know I have a good friend who's living overseas, and she came off of social media because she was dealing with she typed FOM, and like, what the hell does that mean? It's like fear of missing out. And she was dealing with thinking that if she's not online, that she's missing out on things happening.
Oh, FOMO, yeah.
Right? The thing is, what's happening online has nothing to do with her. This is not her life. But yet she felt that way. She was always plugged in. So I tell people, disconnect. If it's at least one day a week. For me, it's Sundays. I like to just, my phone ring, whatever, I don't care. Right? Wi-Fi is off. You know, if I'm not in church and at home, Wi-Fi is still off. I'm not online. You would not reach me on a Sunday. Just like that. At all. Because you have to spend time disconnecting. You're already plugged in Monday to Friday, sometimes Saturdays for your business. As is. Alright? Between whatever the time you wake up to the time you go back to sleep. You're plugged in. So you do need that time to unplug and disconnect from that world.
For real.
You need that. And speaking about that, one of the worst things anybody could do is, as soon as they wake up in the morning, is pick up their phone to check messages and emails and start your day on that charge. It spikes your anxiety immediately. So like for me, I don't turn on my phone until 7:30. I get up, I meditate, read the Bible, pray, stuff like that, and then at 7:30, unless I know I have a meeting or something to respond to, at 7:30 is when I actually turn on my phone. If you try to reach me before that, forget it. It's not going to happen. It's not. Alright? So, you know, learn ways to disconnect, folks. That is something that will help a lot. And in disconnecting, another thing you can do in finding time for yourself is, change your scenery.
Yeah.
Take a little, we can't travel outside the country right now. But you can go to Tobago, you can book a villa, book a bed and breakfast, spend a night in a hotel, something that just takes you away from your current location, something that will make you get a feel at ease for a weekend. Nothing is wrong with that. Alright, spending some time, whether it's alone or just with family, but you're not at home, you're somewhere else, does make a world of a difference.
Yeah.
You need that. Boss lady, a road trip.
Yeah.
Just jump in your car and take a drive sometimes. You know, just getting that fresh air, that sunlight, that vitamin D, right? Getting out your house. For a lot of us who are working from home, all those who live in apartments, who don't have a yard to go into, I always feel it for those people the most. Find ways that you can spend a staycation, as they call it now. Spend a staycation somewhere else. Or, take a road trip. Take a road trip. Feel the wind in your hair.
Right? Much, but okay.
All right, feel the wind in your hair a little bit. Come outside, taking that sunlight. And, no, these are not overnight. These are not the cure-all. But it's just things that you can simply do to take care of yourself a little more. Because you are going to deal with the dark side of entrepreneurship. It is unavoidable. You are going to feel the days of strain. You are going to feel the days of anxiety, depression, worry, doubt, fear. The days when you don't have money, the days you're not getting sales. You have clients to see about. You have employees to pay. You have yourself to pay. You have bills to pay. And you're wondering, what the hell? It's just the truth. But everybody online is glamorizing. Start a business, get an online business, open something, do something. That's great, do something. Yes, we agree. But let's not feel this whole thing is a bed of roses. It is not. It is not. Alright, and that is just the truth tonight, folks. So I do hope, people realize, look, you're not alone. A lot of us are going through these same emotions, same situations, same feelings, mentally and emotionally, and in some cases physically, because as you know, stress does affect your body. So we've been going through it. A lot of us are there with you. We want to share some encouragement that, think about yourself 2 years ago, 4 years ago. You were at that low point, and guess what? You're still here today. You're still going strong. You learn to endure, and you persevere through, and you can continue to do so. And we hope that what we share tonight are just some little tips that would help you push to go further while learning to manage the way you're feeling and the things that are going through. You are not alone. Understand that a lot of us are going through this.
That's right.
All right. If anybody have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat as we're looking to more or less wrap up for the night. It has been a great hour, basically. All right. We want to thank everyone that tuned in tonight for sure. All right. We do actually have some guest speakers coming up this month in the month of March. Is that starting next week?
Oh, yes, that is starting next week for sure.
All right. So we actually have our first guest speaker for 2021. All right. The month of March. We're starting back. They will be live next week, so do make sure to tune in to the mantle, the conversation. All right, tell a friend to get ready, get on board, because we are taking you there this year. Because 2020, you had, a lot to deal with, so we went easy. But as things are wrapping up, and I know a lot of people, would have gotten a nice big reality check because of COVID and realizing that they have one life to live. Anything can happen, and you really need to get out and do it. We want to make sure you do it protecting yourself and done right, so that you don't feel overwhelmed or overburdened. So we want to make sure you have the tools that will take you there.
Great.
All right. So I don't see any messages coming through. Let me just check to make sure no messages came through on the phone.
No, nothing yet. I'm not seeing anything there yet.
I'm not seeing nothing. All right. So, folks, thank you for listening tonight. All right, it was a great conversation, and as always, when you're out and about, be safe, be sure to wear a mask, obey all COVID regulations, and ensure that you wash your hands.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right, wash your hands, make sure you stay as clean as possible. For those who have been connected, go ahead, if you like this video very much, go ahead and like this video, share with as much persons as possible. For those who are on Facebook, go ahead, like our page so you're notified as soon as we go live and our videos are up. For those that are on YouTube, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe.
Yeah.
Please go ahead, subscribe to our conversation right here as we do it. All right. So again, thank you all very much for staying connected, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.